Thank you for joining another edition of Hoops Hitting Gems podcast. I'm your host, David Jones. I want to thank you all for joining episode number 49, almost to 50, almost there after a whole year and a half. Thank you guys for rocking with us for the past, since November of 2020, excuse me. Another exciting show as usual. I wanted to do something different this time. And our first guest we brought on, for all you people watching, this is going to be very important because we're going to talk about injuries and sports medicine and that side of the ball today. So our first guest, without further ado, we have Dr. Erin Hassler today coming to us from Houston, but she will be doing some work in Atlanta as well in the near future. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about her being an athletic trainer for a number of entities like the WNBA and some of the high schools and colleges as well, and AAU out there in Houston. For you AAU guys in Atlanta, her services will be available. I'm going to give the stage to her, and I'm going to be the one just really listening and asking some questions because I want the education to come from her, not myself. So, how you doing today, Dr. Hassler?
I'm doing well, David. Thank you for having me. Thank you for hosting me and letting me join your guest.
Definitely. So we're going to jump right into athletic training. We'll start with what brought you into athletic training? What brought you to the field and what made you make it a career?
So I'm not an Atlanta native, but I did spend a lot of time in Atlanta. I grew up in St. Louis and always played sports. Always. Okay. I was the girl that ran against the boys in the street. So anything like that, that's what I was doing. I didn't want to wear dresses and I played with Barbies, but okay, if somebody said, let's race, let's do it. Right. So moved to Atlanta for undergraduate, went to Clark Atlanta University, go Panthers.
Okay.
And I didn't really go to a sports high school. I knew nothing about collegiate sports. I just knew, I wanted to go to an HBCU and really get involved. And I didn't think that I was good enough to participate in collegiate athletics. But one day I just ran into, a classmate and, we were working out and I said, this isn't enough for me. We're just kind of working out, and I was like, this isn't it. I'm not getting enough out of this. So I walked onto the track team, got a scholarship. My coach is still there, Coach Page. She's an Olympic hurdler. And that was kind of what got me really, really interested in taking sports to the next level. Unfortunately, I didn't get involved until really late in my collegiate career. Mm-hmm. So, and I did sustain an injury. Okay. And it's funny. It was also the 1996 Olympic period. So everything was about the Olympics, right? Just everything, the grocery store and the gas station, and everybody had some kind of contest. And I decided that would be what I would do with my biology degree, would be to get into that level of sports medicine. I didn't really want to go to medical school. I thought I'd be in school forever. It didn't matter. I'm in school forever. But that's really what it was, is that I've always been an Olympic junkie. And when they came to Atlanta, you could see it up close. You could see all the different types of jobs and opportunities that were available through the Olympic movement. And that's what pushed me into sports medicine.
Okay. Okay. So did you work at all in the Olympics, like interning or anything like that?
At that point, no. Okay. It was the summer between junior and senior year.
Okay.
No, I did not work at that point, but just really, really paid attention to everything and just soaked it up like a sponge. My friends and I got on the train, went downtown, traded pins, and just really, really took it in. I got a pennant over here on the wall from Atlanta, from that Atlanta Olympics. So.
Okay. So one of the other things I wanted to really get in on is you're really big on the basketball side for athletic training. Is that correct?
Correct.
And, one of the interesting tidbits you gave me is, you've done some work for the old Houston Comets team there in the WNBA.
Yes. I am so sad we don't have that team.
I know. They really are the ones that really brought the WNBA to the forefront. You know,
Correct.
they had that dynasty, and everybody was watching when you had Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper. You had a number
I
of
had
really
I
good
had a few of them together, you know. So I had Tina and Cheryl at the same time, and it was really good. They were really, really good to me. They were good leaders, and both very good mothers, both of them.
Okay. So let me ask this. So with you being, you know, really entrenched, we're going to really start to touch on some of sports medicine and, you know, what you recommend, because, you know, in this AAU world, you know, during the summer, some of these guys are playing 50, 60, 70 games, which is a lot. And, you know, even in Texas has a high school live period as well during June. So if you add those games in, you're talking about from April to possibly August 1st. Some of those kids are playing, and even before April, some seasons kick off like March 18th. Yeah, because Jim Hicks's event was March 18th.
Yep.
March 18th to August 1st, some of these kids are playing up to 100 games, which I think is excessive. Very excessive.
Pros, you got to think about how many of the pros played, but how many days they have between games.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And, you know, on the AAU circuit, you know, some kids are playing 2 games, 3 games, depending on if it's bracket play or not. You know, you can play in a weekend.
You can play 5 games on a weekend.
Games. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yep. And if you're doing that on a weekly basis, would you say it's safe to say you're setting yourself up with fatigue, and that's how injuries really come about?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So let's look at the math. Like you just said, let's say you have a hot weekend, right? 5 to 6 games if you're on the winning team. Most tournaments guarantee 3 games, right? So at least there may be an opportunity for those to be back to back immediately. One at 1 o'clock, one at 3 o'clock, maybe the other one 6 o'clock, maybe the next day. So you got those games. Whatever you do on the weekend, you got to turn around. In Texas, we have what's called athletic period. So where kids would normally go and have regular PE, our athletes go and report to their coaches. So now you got a practice going on there, a practice or a weightlifting session, some sort of activity, and then practice after school. Right now, when you're doing it, that AAU season, you don't have as much of that, but you do have that athletic period, and it runs every day.
Wow.
Right. So you're really, really going. And then when June hits, you're doing all of that. Now you go back to your school sport, your school team. You practice, you play 2 games a week. Then there may be something on the weekend. There may be a camp. The camp might have 4 or 5 games. Like, these kids are wearing their bodies out if they're not smart about it. Right. You have to give yourself a break. It doesn't have to be a complete shutdown. You know, so you just have to really find that balance between a complete shutdown and all out participation. Definitely. I like to call it active rest.
So let me, and I'm glad you just touched that. A lot of these parents, they're not educated on that part. And, you know, for what you do and what you offer, a lot of times by the time you get them, they've already been through that first ACL or that first hamstring tear or that first pulled muscle or shoulder injury.
What's common is the knee. It's the knee. Yeah. It's Osgood Schlatters. It's the growth plate. It's that tendonitis, you know, right in the front of the knee, because they're wearing their bodies down, or there's no balance in playing, and then doing the strength work. You really need to have both. You can't just play with no muscle development.
But on the flip side, like you just said, now you have, like what you just said, let's just say you have that period where it's development, strength and conditioning for that development in school. They do that, they have practice, and then some of them are leaving there and going straight to AAU practice, right?
And you forgot the private coach.
Yes, and then their own private trainer. Yes, absolutely.
Private personal trainers and strength trainers and basketball trainers. Everyone, you know, wants the edge. They want to be able to have the advantage. And so sometimes you think more is better when in all actuality, balance is better. It's not less, it's just balance.
let me ask this. What would be your recommendation from a workout perspective? You think 4 to 5 days and 2 days rest, or what would be your recommendation?
It really just depends. I think it depends on the level of intensity of the
Okay.
practice. Some practices are just skill work. Okay.
Yes.
We're working on skills and drills. That may not be the issue.
Hmm.
Maybe it's when they're doing full runs up and down the court. That may be the problem for that kid.
Okay.
Each one needs something different. Basketball takes in all different types of body shapes and strength levels, right? So you
Hmm.
have to know what your base is and then work from there. So a kid that, let's say, is, I don't really need a height, but let's just throw a 6'2",
Hmm.
6'2", 175. That's a slim kid, right? You got him running up and down the court, and let's say they're 15 years old.
Okay.
There's still some development that needs to go on with strength. So why pound them into the ground when we know muscles are where you get the jump? Muscles are where you put your work. If they don't have any muscles, they're gonna have a problem. So we want to balance that out. I never really give a 5 and a 2-day week. It's let's look at what the week looked like this week, and then we make
Okay.
the adjustment. So if you went hard 3 days this week and there was no recovery in there, let's use one of those days as a recovery day. Doesn't mean you don't get on the court at all, but you're not going to pound today.
Okay.
That's a hard conversation to have with a coach. And it's a hard conversation to have with a parent who may be just passionate. I guess that would be the best word.
Spirited.
I'm a basketball mom, so I'm trying to, I get it. But yeah, passionate would probably be the best word.
Well, and see what you're saying, and then that lets me know you're probably not some of the coach's best friends,
No.
because some of your recommendations are going to go against what they really want to do sometimes.
Oh yeah, it's backfired on me before. But I have to
Understood.
answer as the athletic trainer, oftentimes in a school setting, and in AAU it's a little different, right? I see the
Mhm.
kid one time, I might not see him for another 3 months. I may not see him until next season,
Correct.
right? So I can give them a recommendation in that space, and they can take it or leave it, right? Whatever they want to do is whatever they want to do. If they buy into my theory, then so be it, and we can have a follow-up conversation. But if they don't, it's okay. It's in the school setting where it's a little bit different, where I have to see you all the time.
Okay.
And
Now,
it's different.
that's interesting what you just said. So, like when you're at these AAU events, like you said, you may see them this week. You may not see them again until maybe the next live period per se.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're coming to you, oh, can you take my ankle, or can you take my wrist, or something to that extent. And a lot of times when you're starting to tape some of them guys, you notice certain things, like whether it's a injury that may need some attention. What do you do from there? Like if you notice, like maybe you wrap his ankle and you see the ankle's not looking right, then what?
Oh, I talk trash to him off top. I mean, I'm I may have a smile, but I joke around with the kids and I'm like, ooh, flat feet. What are we doing? What are we
Yeah.
doing? Why are you not tying your shoes? Like, what are we doing? This
Mhm.
is your equipment. This is your moneymaker. What are you doing?
Exactly.
Okay. Are you serious about playing? Are you serious? You're serious about
Mhm.
playing, but you're doing that? Whatever. So I'll mess with them like that. And, it depends. It really depends if they're there with their coaches. Then I may pull the coach to the side and say, hey, you see this right here? This is why you keep having a problem with the kid, right? They need new shoes. That's a big, big issue is shoes.
Yes.
It's not really about how much money the kid has and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be a $200 pair of shoes.
Mhm.
But after 3 months of shoe wearing, you need a new pair. The cushion breaks down, the support breaks down, the grip on the bottom breaks down. That's what leads to a lot of ankle problems.
Okay.
But if I see something, then I bring it up to them. I'd rather educate them and let them take that back. At least they're more aware of their bodies versus, going back out and then just patching them up.
Now, is it safe to say, is it better to tell the coach or, especially in an AAU event, the parent?
Both.
Okay, so you tell both?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But typically the coaches are on one side of the court and the parents are somewhere else. Now, if there's an injury, I'm going to catch them, right?
Okay.
But I'll let the coach know, hey, this will help your kids stay on the court longer.
Okay.
Hey, is your mom or your dad here? Have them come over here before you guys leave. Okay, no problem, miss. And they go get mom or dad and come back.
So with you being the athletic trainer, so let me ask this, and this is out of my curiosity. Do you see these players again, like personally to check injuries, or what is it that, once you see them outside that AAU setting, is it just you see them in a school setting? Do you have a private setting where they come and see you? How does that work?
So typically I can do mobile services. But typically here in Houston, they would come to me. They would come to me. I have a studio, and it's basically a full training room, full athletic training room. And so I make my recommendations. I do a lot with maintenance and recovery. I like to educate athletes. Like I had a point guard this morning. I had a collegiate point guard this morning.
Okay.
Someone that was able to go into the March Madness process, and 20 years old, but to be able to educate him on what he's feeling when he feels X, or what he's feeling when he feels Y. This was our second session today. When I saw him last week, we went out in my backyard.
Okay.
And I said, okay, come on, show me how you dunk.
Okay.
What are you doing? Show me how you dunk. Okay, let's fix that. Does it hurt when you do this? Why are you doing it that way? What are you feeling? Like I do a lot with body awareness and spatial awareness. So they know where they're placing their foot. They know if they placed it a certain way, they didn't do it correctly. So they can adjust in the game at real time.
Okay. So do you give them like stuff to take home and possibly work on as far as stretches or anything
Definitely.
like that?
Everyone has homework.
Okay.
Everyone has homework. I have homework.
So with you giving that homework, is it more like you're giving them like maybe a 2 or 3 week plan or a 4-week plan? Like when you're giving them that homework to say, okay, for the first phase, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. For the second week, I need you to do A, B, and C. And for the next week, I need you to do D, E, and F. Is that the way you do it?
To a certain extent, I really try to find out what the ultimate goal is and then work backward. Okay. If you're, are we working on a playoff situation? Are we trying to get to this point? Okay. Getting to this point requires these things.
Okay.
Once we get to that point, then this is what it requires. And then once the season is over, championships are over, whatever that is, then we go into a different kind of process. Okay. So not necessarily week by week. Initially, we map it out. Some weeks, let's say I plan on seeing you on Wednesday, and everything's not basketball, but let's say I plan on seeing you on Wednesday, but your coach called another practice. May not see you on Wednesday. We work from the perspective of overall wellness, overall recovery. So like you said, do I give them homework? Yes, I give them homework. These are things you should be doing until you see me again. When you see me, you do the things that you cannot do yourself.
Okay.
Right. I don't put them in a position where I'm doing the things for them that they can do for themselves. I do the things you have no idea on how to do.
Okay.
I like that.
I like that. And so from an educational standpoint, is it videos? Is it reading? What do you give it? What type of literature? Is it literature or is it just all?
Sometimes it's in the moment. Like I have a dry erase board, like right there on the side of the treatment table. I'm like, okay. You asked me a question. Okay. Then I go into classroom mode and I'm dry erasing just as if I'm in a classroom and I'm lecturing to them and I explain it to them. Sometimes it's, I have some apps that I'll use that demonstrate for them how the body works, what the anatomy is. I teach them how to do some research. And then right now we're actually building a video library. I also do some some telemedicine.
Okay.
So we've transitioned into doing that now. I have a whole line of products that we're in development with, and hope that my clients are able to, the ones that aren't able to come in, there are some things that we can do, and I can show them how to do virtually.
So basically, so you just said something I wanted the audience to hear. So you also teach on the collegiate level too, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right now I'm teaching kinesiology as an adjunct professor.
And that's what I was getting ready to say, either kinesiology or anatomy and physiology, that type of deal, right? Yep. That's
I'm a nerd.
I remember them days. Oh, I remember those days.
I'm a nerd all day. I will tell you what actually made me feel like a true science major was I took physiology at Morehouse.
Okay.
Man, that teacher was nuts.
And it changed. Your whole perspective? Or
oh my goodness, yeah. And I think I was in my junior year, so I'd already gone through 2 years of biology, but that was application. So I learned how to take just the memorization and apply it to every day. Oh my gosh, that was the hardest class ever. I think I might have gotten a C- or something. I don't know, but that if you get a C from that teacher, that was just like an A. Oh my God, he was not playing.
Okay.
Dr. Brown, he was not playing at all. But I loved it because it was the first time my brain actually started to fire and say, oh, this makes sense. Now everything I've learned up to this point.
So was this more of a challenge? It challenged you more than anything.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, I want people to know that are watching it and watch it live and watch the recording. You're going to be doing services in Houston and Atlanta coming up pretty soon, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a certain area in Atlanta you'll be at that you know of, or that's still in the works? Or
that's still in the works. That's
okay.
Still in the works for right now.
Okay. And how will they be able to contact you? Do you have a website? Is there anything where they can just reach out and look on your website and say, oh, I can reach out and make an appointment? How can that be done?
I do. So my business website is sportzfactory.com. That's SPORTZ as in zebra, factory, all one word, .com. Okay. No spaces, nothing in it. And it's the same for Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.
Okay.
And I also have a book that I put out in September.
Okay. What's the name of the book?
It's called Gold Medal Doc.
Okay.
From Goals to Goats.
Is that your stance right there?
Like that?
Yeah. Okay.
I clean up a little bit. And so it's really about moving yourself in the direction that you want to go. Okay. I want to be a millionaire. Okay. What does that mean? How do you get there? Not taking no for an answer. And really, really being intentional on everything you say you want to do.
Okay.
So that one is actually Gold Medal Doc on Instagram. And if you Google it, the website is also goldmedaldoc.com. But if everyone forgets any of that, you can just Google my name and you can find all of that.
Okay. And they can reach out to you. So, and so they can order the book on goldmedaldoc.com, correct?
They can order it that way. And that way, if you order through my website, I can sign a copy for you. You can go in and tell me what you want to write in the inscription, and I can sign that for you. If you order on Amazon, it'll come directly to you, and it's on Kindle.
Okay.
So you can download it and read it today.
And so let me ask you this. So, as you continue to move forward with all of this, especially coming to Atlanta, I know Houston is a big sports city. Atlanta's a big sports city. And, with you being an adjunct professor, as well as being a basketball mom as well, I really expect for this to take off for you when you get here to Atlanta because,
I'm excited.
The AAU scene here is crazy. The high school scene here is crazy. And you do more than just basketball. You do football and other sports.
Oh, too. Definitely. My client base is basically elite athletes. Okay. So super serious high school, collegiate, pro athletes.
Okay. And I'm thinking of that. I know a place that may be a match for you as well.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
close to the Emory area. We'll talk about that offline.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
when I look at what you're doing, it's a much needed service. And I know for you guys, I'm telling you right now, for my events, you will see Dr. Hassler at my events. Believe that, for the
Thank
post
you.
grad
Thank you.
and
Thank
high
you.
school events as a trainer. So she will be there. So there will be no question about, is there a certified athletic trainer there? Yes, there will be. Definitely.
Definitely.
Definitely. And so, what I want to do, and I'll say this on air right now, I would like to, at least to start out, at least once or twice a month, have you come on the show and give you a segment just to really talk about the importance of this.
Thank you.
I mean, it's just so important what you're
Thank
doing.
you.
And I see so many kids, I see high school kids, college kids, when they fall to some of these injuries and everybody's scratching their head saying, well, how did that happen? I want you to be able to give that literature, whether it's 20 or 30-minute segment, whatever the case may be. I think this is going to be very important. And, we can go ahead and cut this up and record it, put it on
Thank
Twitter, put it
you.
on Instagram. It just makes more sense because this is an area, and that's why I brought you on the show. This is so important. And a lot of people don't pay attention how important, especially elite athletes, because when they start getting those nagging injuries that keep coming because they didn't do preventive maintenance that you're very well versed at. This is how this all happens. And I think it's important to give you a section on this show and even just put it out there to say, hey, pay attention outside of, this podcast is from an educational for mostly recruiting purposes, but this is very important as well. And I think
I
it's
agree.
important to have you on here at least once or twice a month to talk
Thank
preventive
you.
maintenance, sports medicine, and all of that. And to lead into, if they want to know more, they can set an appointment. They can do the telemedicine that you offer as well. I'm all for this. I mean, just like I'm big on education, we talked about education previously. I'm big on this as well because I hate seeing kids go out with torn ACLs or, torn PCLs or, whatever the case may be.
Any of it.
Yeah, any of it. Like you said,
Any of it, actually.
Broken bones and, some of it, yes, you can't save kids from all injuries because some of them are just freak accidents, sure. But some of these fatigue injuries that we're talking about, they can definitely be prevented. So
definitely agree on that.
So for all the audience, I want you all to get used to seeing Dr. Hassler's face.
Thank you.
We'll probably be the gold medal doc segment more than likely.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That'd be cool. I like that.
About that, definitely. And I just wanted to thank you for coming on. Really, 30 minutes wasn't even enough, but knowing that you'll be in Atlanta and knowing that you'll be on the show on a regular basis, I definitely look forward to talking. I'm going to have a million questions, even from like some of our team perspective. I'm going to have questions like, hey, we have a kid, he has these type of injuries. What can we do to prevent this? Or is there something we can do that, to get him, a little more healthy or to prevent some of this stuff that are nagging?
And some of this, I mean, a lot of this translates on for any sport, right? But we want to make sure we address the males and the females because there are some similarities, but there are definitely some differences. And I think that would be really, really important to talk about.
Oh, definitely. Because just to let you know, girls basketball here is just as big as boys.
I have heard.
Just as big. So yeah, those differences are going to be important as well. So we'll definitely talk about that. But I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you so much. And I'll be, like we said, I'll be in both Houston and Atlanta. I'll be going back and forth.
Starting at the end of this month or
back and forth probably by the time school starts.
Okay. So, and by that time, like I said, you've probably been on the show a couple of times already before that. So people will know, what city you're in or, from a schedule perspective. Will you have your schedule as you're going back and forth on your page? Like I'll be in Atlanta this week or Houston this week.
Possibly. I hadn't decided how we do that yet. I'm putting everything in place for me to move into different markets.
Okay.
And so, this is sort of a test with the schedule this season, but I'll definitely make myself available.
Gotcha. Hey, you got to go where the money is. Definitely got to go where the money is. I don't blame you one bit. But I mean, you are so needed.
We're going to put these degrees to work now.
Absolutely. But even putting those degrees to work, putting the knowledge and spreading the knowledge out there to prevent some of this stuff that could have been prevented is even more important.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
Listen, I appreciate you so much for coming on, Dr. Hassler. We're going to have a lot to talk about in the next 2 or 3 months. Trust me. And especially, in football season, you went to Clark. Georgia's a football state as well. So
yes, it is. Yes, it is. We used to drive down to UGA just to go.
Exactly. So
let's go.
UGA, and now Georgia State is up and coming now.
I know.
So that's going to be an opportunity for you there.
Yeah, they didn't have football when I was there. It was only basketball.
Times have changed. Trust me, Georgia State football is up and coming.
State Tech was always on the board,
Oh, yeah. Tech is Tech, but State is here.
And West Georgia and Kennesaw, like everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kennesaw State has a good 1AA team now. Yep. So they're grabbing a lot of Atlanta talent.
Morehouse, Clark Atlanta. Yeah. Can't leave them out.
No, definitely. Well, the Morehouse Clark Atlanta game, you better go early because you're not going to be able to get in, or it's going to have to park almost downtown to get to the game.
Get in. But I did all my work at Morris Brown.
Oh,
that was.
They're going to come back once now that they got everything together. They're going to come back, and if I'm not mistaken, they're going to come back starting on the D3 level. But to be honest, I'm excited to see Mo Brown come back because I hated to see that happen.
I hated it.
Yeah, but now with them coming back, I think it's going to be even more to the atmosphere. You got Clayton State down there in South Atlanta. My gosh, there's so much going on. So much. I mean, you got Dalton State. This is like a hotbed for schools, high school and college. So you'll be a busy woman. Definitely.
I'm excited.
Well,
it's like coming home.
Oh, well, yeah, this is your second home here. So I'm sure Atlanta will embrace you with open arms from high school to college to, the dream is here.
And the pros, I got some pros that are waiting on me to come to town.
And the G League is here too. So, College Park Skyhawks. So ample opportunities for you. Gwinnett, Atlanta, the Braves AAA team is here. The Gwinnett Braves. Okay. So there is ample sports medicine, athletics.
And I went to Life University. So that was
Life, yeah. Coach Beasley over at Life. Exactly. Yep. Definitely. Like I said, I'm missing. There's so many, I'm missing some of them, but you'll be a busy person. Just don't put me on voicemail all the time. If I call asking for advice, don't put me on voicemail.
Oh no, I got you. I got to clean out my voicemail box anyway. So
I see. That's what I'm saying right there. I call and go straight to voicemail.
No, just shoot me a text. Shoot me a text, and I got
definitely. But listen, I appreciate you. I got to get the next guest on here because we probably go another 20 or 30 minutes, but. Thank you so much for coming on to the show, and we're going to talk a lot more in the future, okay?
Thank you so much, David.
All right, you're
welcome.
This was
great.
All right, you take care, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Dr. Hassler, I'm going to say Coach Hassler. Dr. Hassler, even though she's a basketball mom, I'm telling you, you guys, please, that preventive maintenance for sports medicine is so important. A lot of people take it for granted, and that's how you end up getting hurt. Our next guest is probably on his way. He is in the background. He stepped away for a quick minute. Man, one thing I want to tell people before I bring him on, I will be in Spartanburg, South Carolina this weekend. I will be on the girls' side this weekend checking out the Three Stripes live period for the girls. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But on our next guest I have coming, I actually met him at, it's been over a year. I know that. It might have been at a jamboree. Probably was. I can't remember, but we've talked a number of times since then. real good brother. Is up there at Bowling Green University, up in not too far, right outside of Toledo, Ohio, which is in Bowling Green, Ohio, Bowling Green University. We got Coach Steve Wright, who's the assistant coach at Bowling Green University. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, yeah, man. You know, we've been talking about this forever, man. It's just a matter of linking up with schedules, man. And, you know, I know the people in Toledo are going to cut my neck off for this one for having the BG guy on. But, you know.
Hey, it's all good, man. Anytime, we met about a year ago. We did meet at a jamboree in OKC. We talked before that.
Yeah.
We talked before that, but we had a chance to actually
meet at Cody's event. That's right. So. That's right. And you know, you was out there putting in that work, doing the evaluations, just like a lot of coaches was, man. That's a part of your job, man. And man, I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I want to talk about the difference of how the culture has changed, and some for the better and some for the worse, unfortunately. Like nowadays, you guys are looking in the transfer portal in JUCO. Is that correct?
Yes, we are. We still looking at high school kids too, as well. But you know, the main focus right now is junior college and Division I transfers.
Exactly, and the reason I said that is because it cuts down the opportunity for a lot of these guys, these high school guys, and post grad, because post grad it's still tight for them as well. And even let me ask this: even after transfer portal and JUCO, would you squeeze in international players in between post grad and high school?
Oh, we will. I mean, we haven't had. I mean, in the past, we haven't really had any, international players on our roster, but it was previous. You know, he's been here. Mm-hmm. He was here since 2015. Mm-hmm. He dealt with some injuries, so other than that, man, we haven't really went on the international side. Just really been, high school. We sprinkled some high school kids here and here and there, and then we've just been on the JUCO, and then the transfer portal, over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. So, for the people that don't know, man, tell us about Bowling Green. Tell us about you. Let's talk about you first, man. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio. Originally born and raised in Dayton, Ohio. Had the opportunity to fall in love with the game at a young age, growing up in the city. And, that got me the opportunity to earn a scholarship. And, coming into Bowling Green, a lot of people don't know. I had to take a different route. I was a Prop 48. Coming in, a lot of people don't know what a Prop 48 is.
Yeah, you telling your age on that one, man.
So I'm taking it back. But, inspiring. Yeah. Very inspiring of the route that I took to be where I'm at now. Wasn't supposed to make it, but I did. I was a Prop 48 coming out. Didn't play my first year here. Played for a guy named Dan Dockich, who's well respected in the business, who I respect as a mentor and as a coach. I always, anytime I see him or have a conversation with him, I'm always thanking him. Being a kid from the inner city, thinking that I know it all and coming into an institution. And, getting told, the right things, and how to conduct myself on campus, on the floor and competing every day and every possession and things like that. But, grow up in Dayton, I was a Prop 48, end up playing here for 3 years. So I end up graduating and getting that year back, my prop year back, and graduated and then went to Northern Kentucky during their Division II era. Okay. And, was named first team All-American in the GLVC conference when they were Division II and player of the year. And then, that caused to give me an opportunity of going overseas. So I played overseas at a high level for 5 years, played 4 years in Germany and to play 1 year in Finland. So, right after that, man, I took a job at the University of Cumberland in Kentucky, a Division I NAIA program. Coached there for a year, finished my master's there. Then went back to JUCO route and coached at Columbus State Community College. I was assistant there under Coach Ed Thompson. And during my time doing the JUCO, I was on the grassroots as well. So I was with King James Shooting Stars. I coached their 17 U team on the EYBL, had a bunch of good guys, coming out of Ohio and out of Michigan. And then I took over at Cincinnati Princeton. I left the JUCO,
Okay.
Columbus State, and then I took over at Cincinnati Princeton in 2018 and had an unbelievable time there, man. I had a McDonald's All-American who's now playing with the OKC Thunder, Darius Baisley, mentor him and, help him, get to where he's at today. And coached there the year after that and took a video coordinator job at Cleveland State under Dennis Gates. He finally gave me my opportunity. I was trying to break in for a long time.
Yeah.
And, he gave me my opportunity, and I was there for probably 7 months. When the pandemic hit, I got to go back home to Cincinnati because I didn't move my family. And then in June, I got the Bowling Green job. So I've been here going into my third year at Bowling Green as the assistant coach.
Okay. So for people that don't know, Bowling Green is in the MAC conference, which is a mid-major. And, some people aren't familiar about the MAC conference, but, I'm versed on it, so I can speak on the MAC conference. The MAC conference puts out pros. I will tell people that right now. You can go from Ron Harper to Dan Marley. You can go to Antonio Daniels from Bowling Green. Casey Shaw at Toledo played for the Sixers. Gary Trent for OU. There are
McLeod, Bowling Green. Rashawn Holmes, Bowling Green.
Exactly. I mean, there's a number of great guys that have come out of almost every MAC school. Every MAC school. You have Earl Boykins at Eastern Michigan.
Yep.
I mean, people, and when I tell people this, they're like, man, I didn't know. I'll be like, yeah, man, the MAC has some really good basketball. It's just a mid-major, and a lot of people will say, oh, it's not Power 5. Just like you just said, when you left and went to Northern Kentucky, you put up numbers at the D2, and you still can go overseas. That's another misconception a lot of people have to say, if you don't go D1, you can't play professionally. That's nonsense. And it's no knock to any D1. I know it as well as but you can go overseas from NAI, D2, D3. There's some D3 guys going overseas as well. It's just you got to put that production up. Like you said, you're a first-team All-American, so you got your shot. And people don't understand that, man. I just want you to speak on that a little bit, man.
Yeah, it's really about production, And I tell guys when I'm recruiting them, I always ask them, and I shock them all the time. I said, "What's your end goal?" And they always say, "What do you mean, coach? What do you mean, my end goal?" I said, "What are you trying to do after you're done playing?" And I always explain to our guys, when I'm recruiting, it's bigger than basketball. If I'm not, if you're not calling me, inviting me to your wedding, showing me your first pictures of your first child, I didn't do a good job as a coach, point blank period. But I always ask them, what's your end goal? And I tell them, what production are you trying to get? It's okay if you want to go high major and play in front of 15,000 every night and fly private, every game and things like that. But, you can come here and make an immediate impact right away and be a huge fish, and, at the end of the day, when you're trying to, go overseas or you're trying to, further your career, you got to have production. You got to have numbers. And if you don't have those numbers, an agent won't represent you. What can an agent sell? An agent can't sell a guy that's, 14th man on the bench or 12th man on the bench, averaging 2.5 points a game, and it goes back to me. I had a very good career here at Bowling Green. I was a 3-year starter. But obviously I made a decision to transfer and use my prop year and go somewhere else, and it worked out for me. Being one of the top 5 players in the country, Division II. Being a player of the year, averaging over 18 points, 6 rebounds, and whatever my stats was, and I jumped straight into the top league in Germany, and I'm playing against guys that played at Michigan State and North Carolina and played in the NBA. Dan Dickau, Casey Jacobson. Inazua Cisse, all these guys, played in the German league and played in Europe. And I'm an older Division II guy that, nobody ever heard of Northern Kentucky. And I'm out there, competing against those guys all the time. So, I tell people all the time that, go somewhere where you want it and need it, where you can be productive. You can reach your individual goals as well as team goals as well. So, that's just, my perspective on it, when you're making a decision of choosing what school you're going to go to.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't agree with you more. And production is key. I'm probably going to end up clipping that because, man, forget the recruitment pitch to that. That's just the gospel, no matter what level it is. You have to have production no matter what level it is, man. And when you're out here recruiting, because this is beyond important as well, what is it that you're looking for just before we all want the guy that can score, but what are the intangibles that you look for in a kid, or what are they that may turn you off to say, nah, he's not good for our program?
Right. I mean, when we try to recruit, we always try to recruit high character guys. And people change. You might be a high character guy when you recruit them, and then guys hit adversity. That's why the transfer portal is what it is. Guys hit adversity a little bit, and they don't like what you want to tell them. But first and foremost, we always look for high character guys that love the game. That's the first thing I ask when I recruit. Guys, I said, how much you love the game? What are you trying to do when you're done playing? And some people tell me, I don't want to play, or some people say, I want to further my career. So when guys kind of tell me they don't want to play after that, I kind of question them like, are you going to put in the extra work? Or you just going to do what's required? I will say. And if you do what required, you're not really helping yourself, and you're not helping us as a program, because you have to put in extra. Everything that you're doing, not just basketball, but in life, you got to do what's more than required if you want to further yourself. You want to make more money, whatever it is. As a father, if you do just what's required, you walk in the house and you speak to your kid, hey, hello, and then you go about your business, they go about theirs. You got to do more. So everything, when I recruit, I always ask guys, what are you trying to do, to further your career and things like that. But really the main thing is high character guys that really love the game of basketball, that's trying to get better on a daily basis. And that's coachable, and how we play here at BG, we always say, if we recruiting a guard, guard got to be able to use the ball screen. Got to be able to make other guys better. You got to be able to shoot. And you got to be able to think the game. So that's what I'm watching. I'm watching their body language and how they're being coached. When they go off the floor, are they interacting with their teammates? All those things is what I look for when I'm out there on the recruiting circuit recruiting.
Okay. And what is it that will easily cross a prospect off of your list that you see? Was it somebody not hustling, somebody pouting when they get to the bench because they're being taken out, not getting back on D, or putting their head down when they miss a shot? What are those things that say, he's not for BG?
I think the main thing is, for one, definitely not being coachable, not being a teammate. I'm huge, especially myself, I'm huge on being a great teammate. And if I see guys are not being a great teammate, and don't get me wrong, there's a difference. You can challenge your teammates. You can challenge guys. But it's about what perspective are you going to put it in. But I can't, I cut guys off when I see them not being coachable. When coaches are talking to them, they're putting their head down, they're not giving eye contact. Those are the things that scratch me off. Like you talked about, you turn the ball over and you don't sprint back in transition to try to stop the ball. Things like that. That's an immediate, check for me. And I check them right off, right then and there if they do those things.
So, for Bowling Green, let's talk about this past year. How'd the season go? Would you finish in the league record-wise?
Yeah, we finished. We didn't have the best season. Finished 13-18. Basically a whole new roster. We lost our best player, Justin Turner, who's now playing with the Motor City Cruise in the NBA Development League. That's a part of the Detroit Pistons. All-time leading scorer, scored over 2,000 points. We lost him, brought in basically 5 guys out the portal and 1 freshman. So we basically had a preferably new team. And, most of the games we were right there. We were right in there. But, we lost them. We finished, 338 in defense this past year. Out of 352 teams, it's going to be tough to win ball games. We was the number 1 scoring team in the conference, but we just didn't stop anybody. So we didn't have the best year this past year, but we looked to regroup and I thought this offseason we put a good roster together for us to go out and compete, next fall.
Who do you have coming in this year?
Excuse me?
Who do you have coming in this year? Next season?
We got Jamal Felt. He's coming in from Our Savior Lutheran. He was a prep kid, originally from Baltimore. We got Leon. We got so many kids. We got Leon Ayers that's coming in from Duquesne, averaged about 12 points a game.
Yeah. I know exactly who that is. Yeah.
Yeah. Played at Mercer.
Yes.
Played at Mercer, down your way.
Mm-hmm.
We got Rashawn Agee coming in from Casper College. Had an exceptional season, averaged about 22 and 12. And we just recently we got a commit from Sam Towns out of Columbus. He transferring in from OU, from Ohio, from University of Ohio. Mm-hmm. So we got those 4 guys coming in now with a pretty solid group. Sorry about that. With a pretty solid group coming.
Okay. So, and let me ask you this. So, and I actually saw Our Savior Lutheran. I saw them at Overtime Elite. You're on mute.
Okay, who?
I saw Our Savior Lutheran at Overtime.
Oh, yeah.
Elite. Yeah, I saw them down here in Atlanta. I saw them as well. They had a nice loaded team too, man.
They were talented. Jemai is a super talented guy, super athletic, can block shots, can run the floor, play above the rim. Very, very talented kid, and we're looking forward to working with him and see what he can bring to the table for this coming season.
Okay. Now, and we briefly touched on this, and I just want to reiterate on this as well. Again, misconception. People think if you go to Bowling Green or to a MAC school, that the chances of you going pro, whether it be G League, D League, overseas, or just like the young man from OU that got drafted last year, they think that it's not possible coming out of the MAC to go to the league or to play professionally. We both know that's a bunch of nonsense. And,
right.
I just want you to touch on that because just when we started, when I brought you on, like we just named probably about 9, 10, 11 guys. And that was just off the top of our head. There's a number of more, Wally Zerbiak was another one,
exactly.
as well. And, people don't understand the quality of basketball in the MAC conference. And what people also don't know is the MAC conference knocks off a number of Power 5 teams in November and December every year.
Yes.
And people need to understand that. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I mean, our conference is great, man. I mean, it's talented, teams in this conference, our head coaches, they're well coached. And you talked about the pro side, we have Rashawn, Rashawn Holmes, he 2015 graduate from BG, just signed a $54 million deal, with the Sacramento Kings, this past season, now we got Ryan Rollins from Toledo. He's looking pretty well to be an end of the first round, early second round draft pick. And then you look last year, we had Jason Preston, he went high second round, early second round last year. So the basketball in the MAC is great, man. I mean, it's, they always say it's a guard-oriented league, but, I do agree that to an extent, but, overall, it's just a competitive conference and you got to bring it every night. If you don't, you're going to lose, and they say it all the time, if you don't got good guards in the MAC, it's hard for you to win, so.
And as much as it pains me to say this, what you just said is the honest to goodness truth, because Toledo was rolling last year. They got knocked off in the MAC conference tournament, man. I was mad about that. But man, I tell people that all the time. And, one of my good friends down here in Atlanta, I was like, man, listen, I was like, one of the things about the MAC conference that people don't understand, I was like, a MAC conference school, and I said, it's always like Jekyll and Hyde. They can knock off a ranked team and be on such a high, but unfortunately, that next week or that next game, they may lose to somebody unheard of.
Right.
And I said that goes for almost every team because when they play, they get up to play those Power 5 teams.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, like the intensity needs to be the same, but sometimes, unfortunately, they may get popped off by a San Jose State or somebody like that when, it's not expected. And, that's why I said about Toledo, Toledo's notorious for that. They can play, you go to Savage Hall is a tough place to play at. And they mess around and go on the road. I have my fingers crossed. Like, Lord, please, I don't want to hear no nonsense on Monday night or Tuesday. Oh, they got knocked off. And I'm just like, man, come on, y'all, really? And then, people from the SEC be like, man, look who y'all lost to. I'm like, but we just beat such and such. They be like, oh, that's a fluke. And I'll be like, why don't you go up there and play? Y'all always want the MAC schools to come to your place, but you never want to go to theirs. Why? Because you're afraid to lose.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, I think, I know you was talking about Toledo and, they, won back-to-back, regular season championships. And, they lost, when it comes to the MAC tournament. It's tough. Like you said, the conference is so tough. It's hard. Yeah. You can win the regular season. We are basically a one bid team. I think we should be more. I think we should be multiple teams, man, because the conference is that good. But, when you look at it, it's hard to win 3 games, on Friday, Saturday, and on Sunday in the MAC.
Yeah.
It's just so competitive. The players are great. So, it's tough, man. You got to bring it every night.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And to go to your point, I think it's safe to say if you're an all-MAC player, you're at least going to get an overseas tryout. You agree?
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. We had a kid this past year, we had Justin last year. Before that, we had Dylan Fry. Before that, we had DiMaggio Wiggins. All those guys are playing, at the professional level. And Daquan Plowden that we just had this past year, he's going to have an opportunity, probably at the league. Multiple NBA teams have reached out to us about him. He's an unbelievable kid. He's going to have a shot of either playing in the NBA G League or NBA, or like you just said, he's definitely going to get an overseas contract to play at the next level. So if you, first team, second team, third team, all MAC, even honorable mention, you're going to have an opportunity to go and play and make money.
Now, there's one other thing I definitely want to speak about as well. People always don't know about the quality of coaches in the MAC conference. Because when you look at some of these Power 5 schools, I tell people all the time, oh, he used to coach at such and such in the MAC conference. He's like, when I'll go with Bowling Green.
Yep.
Jim Larinaga at Miami.
Yep.
When I was there, Jim was the coach at Bowling Green and did a really good job. But, it's when I look at him, I'm like, man, I remember when he was at Bowling Green. We'll even take, just stepping away for a quick second, in football, Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple. Nick Saban was at Toledo. That's where
Urban Meyer. Urban
Meyer. Yeah.
So, when I was here, Urban Meyer was, here as well, from 02 to 03. But if you look at, like you talked about, coaches in our conference, you look at Coach Huger, before COVID happened, 20-plus wins, back-to-back seasons, been to the MAC finals, been to the MAC semifinals. Yeah. Who knows what happens if COVID don't happen, going into the tournament as a number 1 seed. Yeah. Coach Kowalczyk at Toledo has been doing an unbelievable job. You got John Gross that's just almost knocked off UCLA. Jeff Bowles over at Ohio. I mean, it's I can go on and on about the guys in our coaches in our conference, our head coaches, and they do an unbelievable job. They can recruit, they can coach, and it's just a great conference. Great coaches, great players, the whole nine.
But it's a good thing and a bad thing. And I say it's a bad thing because every guy you just named, every year when a big job comes open, they're usually on the short list.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's that the MAC is the hotbed. And you do good, you do well in here. John Gross did an unbelievable job at OU. He got the Illinois job, and bounced out of Illinois and came back into the MAC and won the MAC tournament last year and almost knocked off UCLA. So he is a remedy to what he does. You know, like you said, it's just great coaching from, you know, my head coach, Coach Huger, to, you know, John Gross, to Jeff Bowles, to Coach Kowalczyk at Toledo. They do an unbelievable job.
And you know, and I do want to
Coach
shout out
Coach Senderoff at Kent State does an
yeah. Can't forget Kent State.
Cindy does a great job. Coach Cindy does a great job as well.
And there's one other thing, and I know you'll agree with this as well. People definitely sleep on the women's side of the MAC. They got some good basketball.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What was that? The WNIT had like 4 or 5 MAC schools in it.
Yep, Toledo, Buffalo, I think OU. You know, our girls. You know, Coach Robin Freilich. You know, she does an unbelievable job. Won the MAC last year. Did an unbelievable job when she was at Ashland. You know, so you know the coaching in the MAC on the women's side is great too as well. You know, I love going to the women's game, women's game, and watching them compete. You know, every night too as well.
Yeah, and definitely shout out. Since you were at Princeton, I just thought about that. One of my good friends was a BG girls basketball player, one of the better ones of all time, Toledo Scott.
Oh, Toledo, Toledo,
yeah. So when I was at Toledo, Toledo was at BG when I was there. We were there at the same time from Akron Boothville, and man, Toledo could go.
Yes,
she could go.
Yeah.
She's definitely one of BG's all-time greats and was really good. And I remember that year she played, like she made first team All-MAC. Angel White from Western Michigan. You had Dana Drew, who's one of the all-time assist leaders for the MAC. Was at Toledo. Like the women's side is just as loaded as the men's side. And it's to be honest, they probably have a longer history of being loaded as well. But like you said, I used to love going to the men's and women's games. I used to love that. And for people that don't know, Toledo and Bowling Green are rivals. I don't care if one team is 2-15 and the other one is 27-2. That game is going to be close. You can throw the records out. Plain and simple.
You can throw the records out. You know, I was a part of it from 2002 to 2006. We're spread at probably about 18 miles apart. You know, it's a I-75 showdown. It's just a great environment to play in. You know, you can compare. You can't really compare it to Ohio State and Michigan, but you know, like you said, it's up there. You know,
and it's going to be packed. Please believe, whether it's in Bowling Green or Toledo, it's going to be packed. Bowling Green. That's why I was shocked when I went to the BG game. I went to the women's game for the BG Toledo game, and I was like, man, it is packed down here at Bowling Green for this game. I mean, so there's some passionate fans down there. I have to give BG credit for that. Some really passionate fans.
It is. It's been like that. You know, it's been like that for a while. And, you know, I'm glad I got the opportunity to actually play in a real rivalry. You know, it's really a real rivalry. And, you know, our fans and their fans take it seriously as well. So, but Toledo was a great player. I end up actually work with her husband at Princeton. He's the track coach. Darren Braddock, and her son was in my middle school youth program as well.
Okay. And you know, like I said, Toledo's definitely good people. Like I said, you know, just like me and you kid each other, I used to kid her about, you know, Toledo Bowling Green. And, you know, one of my good friends as well is another BG guy, Derek Kaiser. We talked about that as well. Yeah, you know, D. Kaiser he ended up going overseas. And you talk about somebody who took the long road to get overseas. You know, he played well at Bowling Green, but he grinded to get that overseas contract. Like, you know, he still played summer league. He did all of that. And then he finally got a shot. And I was like, man, this is a shining example of you never give up on your dream, because you just never know.
You can't, man. You got to persevere. You know, me, you know, playing overseas and, you know, trying to get into coaching, I'm thinking it's going to be easy, you know, because I was a former player and I played pro. I persevered through a lot. I was told no a lot. You know, I was told, you know, I always got that, you know, the AD want me to bring in somebody with Division I experience. And, you know, I got told no a lot. And, you know, I kept pushing and knocking down doors and building those relationships. And, you know, Dennis Gates finally, you know, gave me my opportunity, and I took it and ran with it. And, you know, now I'm going into my third year, you know, here at BG. But, just been learning a lot, throughout the whole process, since I've been here.
Because Coach Gates is at
Mizzou.
Mizzou now. He just got, man, that is
Yeah.
so huge. Coach Gates is at Mizzou, and CT picked up CY from Florida State. I was like, oh, that coaching staff is going. I give them 2-3 years before they max, and they're gonna make some noise. I'm telling you.
Yes, for sure, definitely, man. Unbelievable staff that he put together. He's gonna do well. Just because he's a people person. He's a player's coach. He does everything the right way, and I wish him nothing but the best. He's a mentor to me. And, like I said, it gave me my first opportunity, man. And I learned so much from him in that small time frame all the way up until now. I'm learning from him every day. So I think he's going to do great at Mizzou.
And, man, that's one thing I got to commend you on as well, man. Your path, nobody's path is the same. And, you had to do what you had to do, from JUCO to high school to moving up to get to where you at, man. And brother, I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before I'm calling you like, hey, man, I got a kid, man. I got a kid for your program. It's only a matter of time before you get your shot, man. I'm telling you.
Definitely, man. I think just doing the right thing and treating people the right way. I think that's the main thing, man. In our business, you get a lot of people, man, that's not good people. Just call it what it is, man. And I'm not that type of guy, man. I'm, the power of respect is not the disrespect. That's just the way I live by, and just try to treat people the right way every day, and making sure that we're making an impact with our guys that's on our campus, and making sure that they graduate and making sure that they excel as young men. You know what I mean? Excelling in the classroom and making sure that they grow as young men. And I think if you do those two things, the basketball thing is going to be, go fall into place, man. And you're gonna have an opportunity to further your career and play.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. And so, and one last thing before I let you go, man. We're in a new era now, and I know some coaches are iffy on it and some coaches aren't. You're on Twitter just like everybody else is. How big are you on the internet and getting the videos? Is it just the appetizer for you to say, okay, let me go put live eyes on you? Or is it somebody that can wow you just off of highlights?
Yeah, it's definitely, people can, I know people say I can't look off highlights, but you can tell if a guy can play off a highlight, and it's free advertisement. I stay on Twitter. That's our job. You never know what somebody might retweet or what somebody might send you. I try to respond to everybody that's in my inbox, and build those relationships with those guys, because you just never know, and you can look at a video, man, off social media, and you can say, man, this kid got something. I want to check him out. Let me see where he plays at this weekend. Let me see who he plays with. And then now you can put eyes on him and see what he can really do, because anybody can put a highlight together, but you can tell, the ones that can't play and the ones that can off a highlight video. I can tell the first 20, 30 seconds if a guy can really, really play or not.
For me, I look for the intangibles. Like, everybody's looking to see, can he shoot from 25, 30 feet? I'm looking to see the way he moves. I'm looking at those small things, the details. You know what I'm saying? That's what gets me like, okay, this kid can play.
Yeah.
Because we all seen guys that can hoop, quote unquote, but they can't really play. And we know that translates to when you get to college, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, you're gonna struggle. Like you said, can guys hoop but know how to play? Do you know what a flare is? Do you know what a pin down is? Do you know what help side is?
Yeah.
Do you know how to use the ball screen? Do you know how to make the right read off a ball screen? All those things matter. But I watched the video probably about 2 weeks ago, and I saw a kid get a steal about volleyball line, and he took 3 dribbles, and he got to the rim in 3 dribbles and punched it. And I said, that's pretty impressive.
That's impressive, yeah.
I want to see, I'm gonna check this kid out, and see what can he bring to the table. And like you said, man, it's our job is to make sure that our head coach, we bring in the best guys. That's our job as assistants. So, not just you know, when I'm out on the circuit, you know, seeing things live, I'm working while I'm sitting here watching the NBA game. I'm scrolling, you know, people, I'm emailing and texting, you know, during those times.
That's our life, man. That's
our
our
life.
life.
That's our life. So I never put the phone down. My wife and my kids always, you know, they be on me, but, you know, what are you doing? I said, I'm working. I'm working right now. You know, my daughter say that too. I said, put your phone down. She said, you always on your phone. I said, I'm on my phone because I'm working. It's a difference of being on your phone and scrolling on Instagram and Snapchat. But when I'm doing it, I'm working.
Man, I got two questions because you just opened up a Pandora's box about that.
For sure.
Man, social media tweets and posts, can that get an offer from Bowling Green taken away?
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, we definitely watch you know, social media posts and see some of the things that they post and see a lot of kids don't understand some of the stuff that they like. We can see that too. You know, I just seen a kid today. Somebody said something about drugs, about how the drugs make them feel, and he liked it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know, that was a red flag for me, because this drug make you feel good. Do you like it? You know what I mean? Like he liked it, and I was just like, you know, that was kind of skeptical a little bit. But yeah, we definitely watch social media posts and some of the and watch what these kids are posting as well. And it can be a difference of you earning a scholarship offer, not just from us, but from anybody else. So, you know, if you out there, just make sure that you keep your social media clean and do what's right. You know, post videos, you know, post positive things and, you know, nothing negative.
And last question, because I know you're going to agree with me on this. It's a two-part question. Defense is going to, for you guys that are trying to get minutes in college basketball, playing defense is going to get you extended minutes. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, I think so. I truly believe. I just talked to a guy before, probably about a week ago, about, you know, does defense win championships? And I kind of explained it, and this is just me. This is my opinion on it. To a extent, at times I think it's a make or miss game. You know, this is what it is. Like you look at the Suns versus the Mavericks. You know, the Mavericks were shooting. They shot 52% from the field. They shot almost 50%. You know, from the 3-point line. They were 100 from the free throw line. And if you look at, you know, the Phoenix Suns stats, they didn't shoot well from the field. You know, so, you know, both of them, you know, I told him, I said, you think the Suns really came out and just said, you know, we're going to lay down, we're tired, we don't want to play? They just didn't make shots. They didn't make shots. I think Dallas did a good job of defending. So did the Suns. You know, they did a good job defending as well. But, you know, sometimes it's just a make or miss game. You know, if you're not making shots, it's going to be hard for you to win. You know, just simple. But, you know, definitely, man, defense definitely gets you extended minutes on the floor. You know, if you're out there and you're playing balls to the wall, you're in gaps, you're talking, you're communicating, you got physical blockouts, you sprint back in transition, you're doing all the defensive fundamental things. I truly believe that does, you know, get you extended minutes on the floor.
Okay. And the second part to that question, if I have two freshmen at Bowling Green and the one freshman knows defensive principles of the shell drill, does he have a head start on that other freshman?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that he have a head start.
What would you say?
I would say, you know, the main part is the most part is I will say that I would say he does have a head start on him, but it's our job as a staff to make sure that, you know, the guy that's not getting it, you know, understands what we're doing defensively. You know, so, you know, that's my point on it.
No, I like that. I mean, you know, some coaches will take the time. That lets me know you guys are more hands-on, which is a good thing. You know, some coaches are plug and play. Oh, you don't know that? Sit down.
Yeah, because you can't really do it because most kids probably learn something different. You know, they probably play defense a different way than what we play. So, you know, we just can't automatically get that guy a one-up on him because the freshman that come in, his high school may play just like how we play. Who knows? You know what I mean? So the guy that don't understand
and no man at all.
Right. So it might be, it could be a difference to that. So we just got to make sure, that, they continue to learn, how we play defense, what we do, off the ball, while we're on the ball, things like that. So.
Gotcha. Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. This has been a long time coming, man. We done bumped into each other more times than said, man, we're going to get you on the show. We finally got our schedules together, man. I so appreciate you coming on, man. Hey, man, this year, I want to come up there for the Toledo Bowling Green game. So I'm going to hit the SID to get a media credential, man. Definitely.
Oh, for sure, man. We'd love to have you, man. So hopefully you can make it up north. Bring your coat. You gotta make sure you bring your coat.
I haven't forgot, man. I have not forgot that weather up there, man.
We love it. We love the cold weather, man. It's beautiful, man. The snow, during the winter, the winter months, man. So, it's a beautiful thing, man. Kids from the South, man, you gotta make sure you come up here and get this snow.
That was a long time ago for me, man. I've been in Atlanta 25 years, man. So my blood did change a little bit, man. So I got to come up there with the big coat. Y'all might have y'all little thin, little windbreaker on. I may have the big boy on. You like, man, it's not even that cold. I'm like, man,
it don't be that cold, man. This how I dress in the winter.
No. I'm telling you, listen. I've been to Bowling Green. I've been to Bowling Green's icebreakers and know it's 10 to 15 degrees colder in Bowling Green than it is Toledo. So I know what it is. So I'm coming with my big boy regardless.
That's why those players down south, man, you got to come up north, man. They'll love our weather to get away from all that heat, down south. So
speaking of that, man, are you coming down in July?
I'm not. We haven't went over our July schedule, but I was in Orlando. But I think I will be at Lake Point in June.
Oh, for the team camp.
Yeah, for team camp.
Yeah. I'll see you there. I'll be covering it for SUV TV, man. So I'll definitely see you there. July 9th is the big boy time, and the reason why I say you're gonna get your bang for your buck, you got the JUCO showcase for Scott Golden, Under Armour, and On the Radar. And you got Hoop Scene. It's going to be at World Congress Center. So it's probably going to be about 300-400 coaches there for that one. I mean, because they always come that first live period in July because you can see pretty much everything you want. Now, traffic, bro, I'm telling you, Atlanta traffic is going to be insanity that weekend.
It ain't going to be too much traffic up north, though. Won't be nothing up there where we're Under Armour at Lake Point.
But you got to get up there from the airport, remember?
That's true. That's true.
Once you get up past downtown and get to Marietta, you're fine because then you can toggle back and forth between McEachern and Lake Point. Yep. But Scott Golden's event's on the other side of town. That's in Decatur at ISA. And I know with the way you guys recruit, you're going to want to see the JUCO guys. I mean, that's the nature of the business. It's just getting back across town to get to Under Armour and On the Radar. Y'all make it happen, but just get ready. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Get ready, and it's gonna be hot. So you won't wear that. I tell you that.
No,
inside. No, you won't have that on, bro. You will not have that on. You will have on that Bowling Green polo. Trust me.
For sure.
You had that on, man. I'll get a call. Hey, man, he's over here at the hospital. He done passed out. I'm like, yeah, it's about 95 out here, man.
For sure.
But, man, listen, man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on, man. This won't be the last time, man. Whenever our schedules get together, man, we always link up, man. And, man, thank you for coming on again, man. We're going to talk real soon, all right?
Okay, man, I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon.
Definitely, Coach Wright, man. You take care.
You too.
All right, man. Coach Wright, man, that's my guy right there, man. I teased him about, being the rival of Bowling Green, man, but definitely a good guy. Man, I'm telling y'all, don't be surprised in a couple of years if he gets his shot. His time is coming as well. And, one of the things he said, with being a pretty good guy And, you know, when you treat people right, that's going to come back on you in the long term as well. That's going to do it for tonight's show, man. You know, I want to thank both guests that came on. Dr. Hassler, she'll be in Atlanta real soon, back and forth between Houston and Atlanta. I want to thank Coach Wright, real good guy with Bowling Green. For you guys down south that don't know about Bowling Green, definitely look it up. Look up Coach Wright on his Twitter. He responds. They're looking for talent just like everybody else is. Next Monday, I'll be back on. We're going to have the show at 6 o'clock on Monday from 6 to 8 because I have a media meeting afterwards, so I have to get to that as well. I'll talk about the Adidas Gauntlet Circuit, and, you know, I can't wait to talk about that. We're going to continue doing this thing. Next week's show will be episode number 50. Thank you guys so much for joining the show and rocking with us since November of 2021. Hard to believe it's been that long. No, November of 2020, excuse me, not 21, November of 2020. And we're going to keep doing this thing. We're going to keep educating people about the recruitment process. We'll keep educating people about NIL deals. We're going to keep educating people about sports medicine and preventive maintenance. This show is about education, and I love the way that people are actually coming on as guests and giving knowledge that a lot of people aren't privy to. So we're going to keep doing this, and I thank you guys for coming on. I'm your host, David Jones of Hoops Hidden Gems. We'll catch you all next week. Take care.